Habib, glad to have you back,
We're
man.
back, man. Let's
Yep.
go.
You said you were going to last year.
Yep.
Here we are. And as a result of you being back here, we're doing the video version.
Absolutely.
Per your
Let's get it
request
done.
last year, you said you'd be top 10 overall and you wanted a video version.
Yeah,
So fair enough, man. What
exactly.
what have you been up to since last year?
Um, just moved in a place in Detroit, downtown apartment. But just taking care of my guys, hanging out with them every single day and helping them hit their goals for next season. Just
Okay.
getting ready.
You just had a birthday?
Yep, 2 days ago, turned 20.
20 years old, man.
No more teenager, man.
Oh my
It's
gosh.
crazy.
You feeling old?
Yeah, man, honestly, because I always act older than my age. Everyone thinks I'm on the doors. They thought I was 26, 27. When I meet new people, they think I'm older already. So, but no, man, I love it. I
How
love it.
how much of your success do you attribute to the beard during the summer? I don't know if for those of you guys that we need to flash a picture of Jack right now on the screen of a beard. Looked about 30, 40, 45 years old, depending on the day. Like,
Uh,
what was that? What was the thought process going through your mind when you just let that thing
yeah,
grow out?
man. I show up to Philly in like April and May, and dealing with a lot of like, no, buddy, I'm good. All right, buddy, get out of here. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna try something new. So I grow out the beard, and people thought I was older, and it worked.
It did, man.
Yeah,
You looked 5 to 10 years older, for sure.
yeah.
So this last year, I know that we just went over a recap of some of your accomplishments, man. But you broke the all-time record in the outlier team. So Detroit, Philadelphia, $485,000 in sold rev during the summer. Man, so just ask, pivoting from being a top 10 rookie last year and now moving into top 10 overall rep, what were some of the biggest differences from your rookie year to your second summer?
Yeah, I've been getting this question a lot. Even down at MDP in Arizona, a lot of guys come up to, what's the biggest thing that switched? And honestly, going from your rookie year to your sophomore year, a lot of guys think it's going to be easier because you already sold one summer.
Mm,
That could not be farther from the truth. Um, if anything, it's more difficult because you have your revenue you're responsible for, and then all your guys underneath. But
mhm,
really, it was just the little things, because going into your second year, you know how to sell. I don't care if you sold 100K. I don't care if you sold 400K your rookie year. You know how to sell, right?
mhm.
So it's just toning in the small things like your routine, your habits off the doors, and then obviously work ethic, and having a solid why.
How did you balance being on the doors with like your communication or needing to help out, your team? How did that work this last year?
Yeah, definitely a shift. I showed up to Philly in May, and um, May was one of my slower months just because I would say in May I probably knocked like a full day, 7 days out of May, just
Okay.
because there's things you can't control. Your guys have police issues,
Hmm.
stuff with the apartments, which you need to deal with, right? Your
Hmm.
number one rule: take care of your guys, right? So,
Hmm.
but all in all, you just get used to that. And the big thing is making them independent reps. That way, when you have your June, July, and August, you can go out there and do your thing.
What were some of I heard about, obviously every market deals with police, right? What were some of the things that you learned as far as like the best ways to handle, hey, a cop kicked me out of my neighborhood. Like what should I do? How'd you handle those situations with your rookies this year?
Um, yeah, honestly, just having new area ready to go,
Okay.
because when a guy calls you with cop issues, you don't want to take an hour off the doors to figure it all out,
No,
man.
you don't.
Because that's how your personal production, and when you're not producing, your guys aren't producing either. So, just having backup area ready and close. That way, if they do need backup area, you don't have to go pick them up. They can just
Hmm.
walk to it, around the corner, couple minute walk. So,
That's so big. And then also, just to throw in there, neutrality, pretty important when the
oh
cops
yeah,
get called, right?
absolutely.
But make sure they understand it's not the end of the world. They're not going to prison.
Oh
The
yeah,
cops just
no,
needing to
it's
move.
just part of the job, man. And there are definitely more cops in Philly than Detroit, which you deal with it. But yeah, just staying neutral and control what you can control.
I saw some pretty epic Throwdown Thursdays, some pretty amazing battles, right? So talk to me about What were some of the just the dog fights this year that went down on Thursdays?
This is hilarious. Brent's gonna want to kill me. So it's the first Thursday, and is it in April,
Hmm.
and we want to show all the rookies, what Throwdown Thursday is all about. And Brent Brent comes up to me, or Brent goes in front of the whole office. I want the Terminator. Everyone calls me the Terminator. So I'm like, all right, we're doing it. So I made the conditions milk, pour the milk on the head,
Okay.
right?
Yep.
So, this is so funny, dude. So we go out to area, I drop my guys off, whatever. Um, he goes out, starts knocking. Worst start of the day ever, bro. I hop out there. As soon as I start knocking, I got there late, like 11:30.
Okay.
As soon as I start knocking, two of my guys call me with cop issues. So I'm like, okay, gotta deal with it. So
Mhm.
I have to move them around. I get back on the doors at 1, and I'm still at 0 sales. At the same time, I look in the WhatsApp, and Brent's already at 4. I'm like, oh my God.
401.
Yeah.
That's Brent.
Yeah. So I'm like, Mark Langwitz sends a text in there. Jack, I hope you're not lactose intolerant. And that just pissed me off, dude. That just flipped a gear. So um, I also look what area Brent's in. And
Mhm.
just to give the audience some background, knocking Philly compared to Michigan, there's not many bodies of water out there. There's not many lakes, not many rivers.
Okay.
It's mostly woods, and it's more spread out without a doubt. So I see what area Brent's knocking. It's the one river in Philly, man. I'm
Ah,
like, oh my gosh.
he knew he was going
So
against you.
yeah, so I literally text him. I'm like, you are so soft, and he sends me a question mark back. I'm like, bro, you're hood. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So I go back out to my area. It's 1:30 now. I'm still at 0. He's at 4, and I'm just telling myself, look, man, I'm not gonna lose this kid. I'm not gonna lose. I finished with 8 that day, and he finished with 7. Yeah, and I got to pour milk over his head.
Oh,
Best feeling without a doubt, man.
it is.
Yeah.
Shout out to Brent for calling you out in the
Oh
first
yeah,
place, but
Brent's dog.
that's a hell of a comeback,
Oh
man.
yeah.
Okay, and then this year, first year office, Philadelphia, you guys absolutely put yourselves on the map and came through in a massive way. I know you guys learned a ton of lessons. What were some of the showdown competitions where the boys came through, or you guys learned? So, what was one of the biggest battles you guys had this past year?
Just in Shield in general, it was when we started Shield off, it was definitely a learning curve, getting a lot more rookies bought in.
Mhm.
Because our rookies, they started off pretty slow, but we definitely came together towards the end of the year. We won rivalry week, so we got to go to Roost Chris, which was awesome. But Throwdown Thursday was probably the best day of the week, just because everybody would call each other out, and it was so much fun. Me and Brent went at each other like 3 or 4 times a year, and I went up, called the whole office out one time, and so did Brent, and it was just tons of fun for sure.
Okay. Do you remember your record against Brent?
He did get me one time, so it was either 2-1 or 3-1. So
Okay. All
yeah,
right. We'll see how it goes this next year,
yeah.
man.
Oh yeah,
Never
pumped.
sleep on Brent.
Oh no,
Throwing down that kind of revenue, what was the average time frame of a sale from start to finish? Just what do you think estimate?
yeah, probably 10 to 12 minutes max.
Okay. What do you
Yeah.
think? Did you ever go like 30 minutes plus on a sale?
Very rarely, you know. If I really knew they were a buyer, and I need to spend more time with them, I would. But I would say there were probably 10 people where I spent 30 or more minutes on. The way I sell is, if I don't think you're a buyer right away, I'm out of the next door, which
Okay.
we say sell the yeses, sell the maybes, leave the no's for the next guy. I might have left some no's out there for the next guy, but I'm all about efficiency. That's the way I sell.
How many people do you talk to per day?
Um, in May through July, I would say 60, 65.
Okay.
And then August, obviously working longer hours, closer to 70, 75.
Hey, so talk to me about August, right? August
Yeah.
Mania. You came in out of the whole company. You came in second place. I know that probably is something that you're really proud of, and also rubs you in some
Oh
type of
yeah.
way as well. But talk to me about August winning the Rubicon, right? The car for the next 12 months. What was it like going through that battle?
Oh, so much fun, man. I love it. You know how competitive I am with
Yeah, I do.
basketball.
Yeah. Yep.
But it's funny. So we had rivalry week at the end of July, last week of July.
Hmm.
I go up to Alan Cooley and I'm like, look, Alan, I'm selling 180K in August. Like, I'm just doing it. That's what I'm gonna do. Like, I promise you, I will do everything I can to sell that much. So, um, come August, I just start throwing down, man, and I wasn't really looking at the numbers until it was mid August. I'm like, okay, I can really win this thing. You know, I need to work even harder. So, I it's funny, the whole summer, May, June, and July, I deprived myself from caffeine for the month of August.
Mm,
When August rolled around, uh, I would pop caffeine pills every 3 to 4 hours. And the
okay.
minute I pop the caffeine pill, within the next 30 minutes, I get a sale, which is crazy. But that's one thing I did.
Note to the listeners, he deprived himself of caffeine May, June, and July
Yeah.
before hitting that. Okay.
Yeah.
And what hours were you working during August?
Yeah. So August 1st rolled around. I show up to the morning meeting. Alan pulls me aside. I think he texted me. He's like, hey, man, do not go to the morning meeting. Go straight out to area. That's what I did for Mania. That's how I won it. So this is what you need to do. So I'm like, okay. So I'd wake up every day in August at 6 a.m. I'd do my morning routine. I would leave for area 7:30ish, and
Okay.
I would be knocking an hour away in August. That's just how it worked out. So I would knock my first door 8:30ish and 9 a.m. I did stop at the gas station before just because bathroom break. I didn't want to use the bathroom at all during the
Mhm.
day, so I could maximize my hours. So 8:30, 9 o'clock, start knocking, and then we go until dark, 8:30ish in Philly. It's a little darker, a little earlier there. So
Mhm. And what'd you end up selling in August?
170K.
170K rev.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
So I didn't hit my goal. That's all.
What
100,
was your goal?
180K.
Oh, 5K short. Hey, you
Yeah.
left something for next year, man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. And then were you keeping track of like the leaderboard throughout the competition, or do you just focus on what you're doing? What's your strategy when you're in competitions?
Yeah. When I'm in competitions, I look at the leaderboards, but I don't. I look at them like at the end of every week because I just go on a week to week basis. Because if I were to check every single day, it would drive me nuts. So, um, if I look at the leaderboards at the beginning of a week and I see I have to catch this guy by like 10K, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do that without a doubt. You know, that's just how the week's gonna work. And that's how it was for top 10 as well, because I think start of August, I want to say like 12 or 13, and I had 40K to catch up to number 10. It was like 40 or 50K maybe.
Okay.
Um, so I would just take it on a week by week basis. But for Mania, I did check the the numbers a lot because Avery's name was up there. Shout out Avery, $1 million man.
Savage.
So I'm like, I got to beat this guy. And then yeah, so I would just for Mania, I definitely check it every day. You know, okay, what's he doing? What's I'm doing? What am I doing?
Where do you think the competitive nature is that you have? Like, where does that come from? Do you know?
Honestly, I don't, man, because my dad isn't very competitive. He's the type of guy to go out, be like, well, it just matters if you have fun, right?
Okay.
But I think it just started when I was young because I started out playing sports at a very young age, and um, a lot of it had to do with my brother too, because my brother, you know, would beat me in a lot of things, you know, growing up.
Older, younger, what's your sibling order?
Oh, I just want to have one brother. He's almost 2 years older than me.
Okay.
So, growing up, he'd always, you know, beat me and whatever just because he was bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually, I caught him, and then I looked for new competition. Okay, and what also helped is I skipped kindergarten growing up, so I was always put in you know, sports that who were older than me. You know,
Mm-hmm.
my peers were older than me, so um, they were just growing up physically. If you're a year older than the guy next to you, you're going to be better than them,
Yeah.
you know? So I was always, you know, competing at a high level against those individuals. And I think that translates really well because, you know, I was only 19 this last summer and I was going up against what, 20, 22 year olds, 20, 25 year olds. And, but all in all, I just hate to lose. You know, I simply hate losing. I gave a presentation on this, but at Pro Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
if you hate losing more than you love winning, you'll win more. MJ talks about that as well.
I agree. So. Yep. Hey, that was an incredible presentation.
Appreciate that.
That's something, man, I entirely relate to that. Hating to lose.
Oh, I know.
More than loving to win. Yeah, even though
whenever we hoop together.
Yeah, undefeated in Arizona this last time. Yep, as expected. But all right, so I want to dive into a little bit of your psyche, because I get questions from guys about, hey, what do top performers do in different areas? And you're currently the record holder out of anybody that, I've had the pleasure of working with. So when you're approaching a season, what do you do to prepare yourself, to get yourself ready to perform for, not a day, not a week, but for a 4-month period of time?
Yeah, the first thing is actually walking. This last summer, because when you first start off the summer, the first 2 weeks are going to be hell if you're, your feet aren't used to it. Mm-hmm. So I tried to walk like 3 to 5 miles every single day, just to prepare the blisters, so your feet are prepared. But other than that, just having a dialed routine, that way when you show up to Philly and you're not starting something new, you're just hopping back into your routine in a new environment. So
that makes so much sense. And I think everybody that does this job understands what you're talking about, the wear and tear in your body when you first start out and your muscles are getting used to it, your body's getting used to it. That is intelligent. I didn't know that was something that you guys did. Love that. So another question just from rookies that have been talking to me about, what they can do to get ready. So for your team, for anybody else that's going into direct door-to-door sales for the first time, right? What are some of the things that they need to, have on their mind? What are some things they need to do in order to be successful and be one of the guys that finish versus, the percentage of guys that fall off each year? What can they do?
Love this question. So many things. First, read books.
Which ones?
I would say so many to give. Sell or Be Sold. Grant Cardone, we talked about this last podcast. 10X Rule. One good one is Embrace the Suck. I read this during last summer. Great book. Way of the Wolf, Jordan Belfort. I think we talked about this one too. And then Relentless and Winning by Tim Grover.
Those are money. I've read all those but one.
So many good books there. I can go on and on, dude, about books. Outweighing the Devil is another one.
So books, one thing. Okay, I just want to get some specification for the guys that are looking in it. And then what else?
Books. Second, it's so funny. The presentation I'm giving on tonight is so much stuff to do. So this is dialed. Second is get a routine started. We just talked about that, but wake up every single morning and do the same thing. Whether that's, meditate for 5 minutes, write out your affirmations, exercise. It doesn't have to be hard. Just make it consistent every single morning. Again, that way, when you show up to Philly or Detroit, wherever you're selling, it's dialed. You're ready to go. Third, do something hard every single day. Take a cold shower every single day.
Yes.
I love it. I started this last summer and I'm addicted to it. It's weird.
Same.
First 2 months were awful, but now it's like, dude, I need my cold shower. I need it.
It wakes you up, man. It takes you there to where you need to go.
It's like 2 Red Bulls, man. Yeah, doing hard stuff. So cold shower, cold plunge, and get rejected. Get used to rejection. Go up to that girl and just get rejected. Just get used to, get comfortable being uncomfortable, because that's all this job is. Whoever's the most comfortable being uncomfortable sells the most. So just to recap: books, routine, do hard stuff, and then fourth, obviously train. So role play, that's the biggest part. But have a shift in your identity, and I talk about this tonight too. But your habits shape your identity. So if you wanna come out your first summer and be a top 10 rookie and make 6 figures, make sure your habits align with that. Top 10 rookies don't let their managers hit them up to train. They hit their managers up to train. Top 10 rookies don't read the manual every once in a while. They read it every single day. Top 10 rookies have a solid routine. Top 10 rooks, I could go on and on. Meditate. They do that. They do the right stuff every single day, because if you want to have that, if you want that goal, it's great, but your habits better align with your identity, because if not, you're going to go out there and you might not even finish.
I want to get a little more specific on training because I know that there are a lot of guys in Philly and Detroit that want to be next up for a top 10 rookie, right? When you say training, what specifically are some of the ways they can elevate their skill set, right? Like get specific. What can they do to prepare?
Watch pick apart the pitches, obviously, right? Go on preseason trips, because that speeds up the learning curve. There's literally door-to-door experience on the preseason trips. And hit up, what's crazy is success leaves footprints. We've had rookies make six figures. We've had guys make a lot of money. We've had guys hit ownership. They're all available. Their numbers are in the WhatsApp. So hit them up. I love when guys hit me up, when guys first sign hit me up. And that's my number one thing I love, because I was the same way. I was always hitting you up, Ethan.
Dude.
I would not leave you guys alone.
I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, most notably, you, Mark, Brent, and Tristan have hit me and everybody else up more than anybody I've seen before. Just consider it's so much so that it's like, okay, hey, I can do 1 or 2 trainings with you per week.
Exactly. Schedule.
but I love that, right?
Absolutely.
That hunger was real. You could feel that from all you guys, and look at where you're at. And there's other guys as well that have done that. But I just remember that group, and it's no wonder that you guys have performed the level that you have with that level of hunger coming out of the gate.
Absolutely. And the other point of this is it's really a 3-step process. Goal, when I'm talking about goal setting, number 1, you make the goal, whatever you want. 2 is you create the commitments, and then 3rd, you do the commitments. And then the number 2 is where guys struggle. Well, reach out to us. We know what it takes. So make those commitments. And then number 3, obviously, that's where you see the separation in revenue sold. Who's ever more disciplined is gonna, who's ever more disciplined and do those commitments every single day is gonna sell more.
When guys are, self-analyzing, looking at themselves and seeing where they fall in all this, what are some of the pitfalls for them to look out for? What are some things that you've seen from guys now with, being here for a couple of years that, hey, if your mindset is this way, or if you're feeling this way, then, watch out, right? What are some of those things that you've seen that have led to guys falling off?
Scarcity mindset.
What do you mean by that?
Number 1 killer. So abundance mindset, it means there is enough to go around. That also means if it has been done, it can be done again. What I mean by that is literally anything. You can apply this to anything. You can apply it to money. There's no shortage of money in this world. You just have to work for it.
Yep.
So don't be cheap. My number 1, I like this word that I saw on Grant Cardone's Instagram, miser. It's literally the definition of someone who has a scarcity mindset. Miser, who's penny pinching.
Okay.
And then it relates to sales, because if you go into your area, it's just been knocked. If you have a scarcity mindset, you're like, oh man, this day's gonna suck. If you have an abundance mindset, okay, this kid didn't work as hard as me. I'm gonna go put up 5 today, which happened in my August. There was literally every single day like that. It was crazy.
That's how it goes. You're knocking after people every day. Once you get to June, you're knocking after people every single day.
It's whatever. It's you bake it as bad as it is. So scarcity mindset, and then the other thing is distractions. We have so many distractions. One is social media. I have a love-hate relationship with social media, man.
Sure.
You can use it to your advantage, but it can become a huge disadvantage for sure. I deleted it during the summer. I deleted every single thing.
I saw that.
Yeah. I think I'm going to keep it this year just to shout my guys out. But on the doors, obviously it's going to be gone with. And then another point with distractions, it can be family. A family can distract you. No matter how much they love you, they can distract you. Boyfriend, girlfriend, if they're not 100% bought in, they're going to distract you. I guarantee it, because they're going to be texting you on the doors when you should be dialed and focused in, and that's going to take revenue out of your pocket. But it could also go the other way as well. If you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend that's bought in, they will push you, and I think you can really sell more if they're 100% in.
Agreed, right? They can empower you towards your goals.
Yeah.
They understand the vision.
So what we got, distractions, scarcity mindset, and then all in all, just belief. This job's all about belief. I really started Throwdown this year when I truly believed that I could hit 500K. because I came in, man, 500K is a scary goal, dude.
That's hey, yeah, few
It
people ever do that.
yeah, it absolutely scared the shit out of me, and I think, because I popped off in June. I sold 122K in June, and that's when it really opened my eyes, like, "Okay, this thing's doable." And then I slowed back down in July. I just had a slower month. It was Delta. Dude, the 2 Delta weeks were my worst weeks of the year.
For really?
Yeah, absolutely crazy.
I mean, was it just happenstance or like
I
what?
was working my tail off, but I threw up like 19K and 22K,
Mm,
and I'm just
what
like
poverty numbers?
in the grand scheme of things, but, I'm just sitting there scratching my head, but I'm like, "Okay, take a deep breath, get back into it and you'll be fine." But, yeah, if you come to the summer and realize, "Okay, I need to avoid those 3 things," and have a strong belief that you can do it, you're gonna be fine.
So knocking behind people, that's something. So obviously during the summer, we're trying to avoid pain, right? And so there's a lot of different things that we hear. Um, Now, when knocking behind people, that's one of the more common ones that I'll hear from guys like, "Hey, I'm the eighth person selling pest control to these people this month or whatever." How do you handle it? Do you change your pitch at all? Do you preface it? Do you knock the exact same way? What is your technique, or is it just the exact same in every neighborhood?
Yeah, I mean, I really don't like to change up my pitch. Obviously, if you're like a day or two behind someone, you need to change it up. But I think I sell a lot of people when I knock behind, just because I knock their door and people sense the confidence off me. They don't sense sales either. They sense me helping them out, right? So, okay, this guy's not here to bug me. He's here to help me out. But
Where does that confidence come from?
practice.
Okay.
Just perfect practice makes perfect.
And where
So
where's the desire to help that person come from?
just my why. I don't go out. I don't do this job to make money. I really don't. Um, I go out to help people, and people are gonna laugh at that. You help them kill their bugs. It's deeper than that. Um, you can go so far as to say, the money I earn from this, I can help other people out, right? And help my guys
Hmm.
out. So going in with that mentality of a helping mentality rather than an earning mentality, you're gonna sell those people because they're gonna pick up on it, right? They can feel the aura off you.
Hmm.
When that last guy came through here, I want to sell for a summer and get rich.
Yep.
That's what most companies' cultures have, and that's just so toxic. So
Yep.
all in all, I love knocking on people because I know whoever went through that last area doesn't have the same mindset as me. Um, so yeah, just going in to help people out. But again, if the guy was like knocking, if you're knocking right behind a guy, it's only like the first 10 seconds of the pitch that the homeowner's really going to bring it up. So all you have to do is just honestly BS them for the first 10 seconds. Just keep them talking, get their mind off it, and then go into your pitch. And a lot of the times, it's like a brush off objection. They don't even bring it up anymore.
Can you give me an example of what that BS is for the first 10 seconds?
It's like, so yeah, you were just here, man. Yeah, that's my flyer guy. Was pretty nice. Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, those are the spray guys. I say a lot of the time. Those are just the spray guys. But over here, and then I just get them off the doorstep and show them bugs. I just get what they miss, with the webs, and then I ask them a question, put it back on them. You have a guy, or you do it yourself?
Okay.
Because when they answer that question compared to their first interaction, oh, you were just here, it totally distracts them.
Hey, so going back to your mentality on the doors, the way that you sell, right? Helping people. I feel it's a super important thing for people to understand because those salesmen that they think they're really good, right? They really think that they're incredibly good, right? Usually ego driven individuals. And they think that sales is like a manipulation game, right? Because they're looking at it from a completely different framework. And it's wild to see the congruency of the highest performers where they're out there genuinely looking to help people and add value through the service or the product that they provide, right? And so, how do you think that translates? I think it's significant throughout EcoShield, the Outlier team, Detroit, Philadelphia. How does that translate to the way that we develop individuals and talent here?
Absolutely. I mean, just look at our company's motto. We believe in propelling you to the next level of your life. We understand that, um, you know, some guys want to come in, use this as a stepping stone to pay off some college debt, maybe.
Mhm.
Whether you're with us for 1 year or whether you're with us 25 years, the whole goal at the end of the summer is that you're going to be propelled, um, physically, financially, um, mentally, every aspect of life, right? So if you go on the doors with an earner's mentality, oh, this is just for money, you're going to make zero money because Gaines puts it best. There's so many other jobs out there that you make good money. Maybe
Mhm.
not as quick, but money's so superficial. So go out there to help people out, and you're gonna help yourself out. You're gonna help others around you, your peers, everyone out.
And once again, it's just wild how that translates to people being more successful at the end of the day anyway, when they're able to understand on a deep level, that ideology, that paradigm that you're talking about.
Absolutely. You look at the highest performers, and they all have a helper's mentality.
It's
You
an
know
energy, man. Like
exactly.
you can tell if somebody's like the salesman. Like
Oh,
the
we,
salesman.
we know.
That guy will say whatever to you, you know?
Yeah.
That guy takes care of skunks.
He's not working for us.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy does a 45-foot barrier around the house.
Uh,
Oh man. All right. I want to ask you questions about things in your life that the guys that look at you as a leader would be really interested to know. So, what are some of the things that you've seen in guys' lives that have literally made this all worth it, man? Like what it is that we do. Like what are some cool changes that you've seen in some of the guys that you're developing?
just their network, how it grows. Proximity is power. You can just look at my example. I came in um, from in high school. I talked about this last time. I didn't really have many friends because there was a shift in my senior year where okay, I want to be successful. I want to go to the next level, and there are people surrounding me who weren't really into that. You know,
Mm,
there are a lot of kids smoking weed, partying a lot, which I like to have a good time, but I wanted to focus on going to the next level of my life.
mm,
But all in all, I just look at my my guys who came out with me this year. They're when they came into the summer and when they left the summer, they're so much more independent. Um, their skill set, obviously, with the communication skills, grew, but just networking. They have a network who has their back, and it's truly a brotherhood. Um, I tell the guys this all the time. Growing up, we always go to those sports camps or whatever, summer camps where there's a group of individuals and there's always some people left out who just are quiet, don't talk to each other.
mm,
In Eco Shield, doesn't matter what office you're part of, every single person is tight with each other and knows each
yeah.
other. I mean, looking at Detroit last year, I came in and I knew zero people. We started our meetings in a park, and I'm like,
Bro.
who are all these guys? And by the end of the summer, every single person is my best friend. Like, there's no awkwardness if you go up to them at all. They're literally my brothers and sisters. So, just the friendship. I think that's the biggest shift: brotherhood and proximity.
Yeah, I'm really grateful for the iron sharpening iron effect of being around
Absolutely.
guys that are driven, that have purpose, right? That are looking to develop and grow. We don't think that it's rare because we're around it, we're submerged into it all the time. But if you step outside of it, it's like a really different world
Yeah,
out there, right?
absolutely.
Um, and hey, there's a lot of awesome things going on in the world, but I just love that it pushes me to get better, right?
Mhm.
And talking about, hey, this is a big thing I think for anybody to really take their progress seriously. And obviously, you don't want to do this in any way that's unnecessary, right? But talk about outgrowing people. Definitely don't use their names, right? But what are some of the signs that led you to say, hey, maybe I need to start investing more of my time around different people or developing myself? Like, what were some of the things that led you to feel that way?
I love this question, man. This hits so hard. Um, just all in all, work ethic. Um, you know, in high school, or even like right before college, that last summer, if the individual that I was around didn't have summer jobs, it was kind of like a red flag. I was like, okay, what are you doing in the summer? Playing video games all summer? Um, and then even big one is saying negative stuff out loud. That's
Mm,
probably the biggest one.
mm,
If I'm around the person and they're saying negative stuff out loud, I will tell them right away, hey, I don't want to hear that. I cannot be surrounded by that because the minute something comes out of your mouth, it is 10 times more powerful. That's why we always want to say positive affirmations, right? Because if you say positive stuff, for example, just looking at my month of August, I would literally be knocking doors, going door to door, saying out loud, I'm a top 10 rep overall. I'm a top 10 rep overall, over and over again. And it was so funny because when I'm out there working, a lot of the times I don't look at my surroundings. So I'd be cutting through yards and there'd be like old ladies in gardens. And I'd be saying this. It was the funniest stuff, I'm a top 10 rep overall. She's like, what'd you just say? I'm like, oh, my bad. You're the homeowner, right? But I can't be around negative people. Like I literally can't. And that's the best thing about EcoShield. Nobody says negative stuff. And if you do, you will get held accountable.
That goes into a topic that I've recently found a lot of interest in, which is the idea of self-hypnosis with our words, right? And so, yeah, when people negative things about situations, whether it's excuses, reasons why they cannot, or even something that I feel like a lot of people have to readjust with when they start to aspire to become, is not saying negative things about themselves out loud. Like, obviously, you don't want to take yourself so seriously in fun situations or whatever with your boys, but at the same time, when you say something about yourself, it's like the idea of self-hypnosis. You're telling yourself something about yourself in that moment, right? And so a lot of people are in this repetitive cycle of downgrading who they are, what they're capable of, all that. And that's something that, I have a hard time being around that consistently too, because I don't like it, man. I
Yeah.
really don't like it. I don't want my kid walking around saying that stuff. Like,
no, man.
It's not the game plan. So
And the subconscious is so much more powerful than we actually realize, and it just goes back to a book we just read, Discipline is Destiny. He talks about one thing that really hit home with me is hold yourself accountable, but don't bash yourself, because that's one thing I did in college, even my rookie summer. If I were to wake up like 30 minutes late, sleeping a little bit, come on, man, be better than that. Hold yourself accountable, but don't bash yourself.
Graciously, right?
Exactly.
That's a big thing as well. When guys are coming back from a day that's harder, they're having a rough time, you can self-analyze and see things that you need to improve without, what's wrong with me? I'm so like all that. It's a completely different thing. Like kind of elevating yourself from the situation, looking at it objectively, picking apart areas in which you can improve, things that you want to change, and at the same time deploying that grace. I agree. I think it's incredibly important for us to continue our process of growth in a confident, not like, oh, I suck. I don't know, man. Not in that way, right? Like absolutely. you gotta give yourself room to grow, like fail forward, right? All right. So I want to talk to you about influences right now in your life. Like there's all of us young guys, or I'll put myself in the same category as you, even there's nine years difference, right? But we all like are online to some extent, and there's voices out there. There's a ton of them. The world's it's saturated, right? What are some of the voices that you subscribe to, via the internet?
Well, the new one is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Just because I'm reading Total Recall right now, his life story. Longest audiobook.
Bro, it's so long. It's a really good one.
But it's so good. I have 11 hours left. So
okay.
Definitely Arnold, just because everything he did, it was, he always had the vision. I was insane, man. Bodybuilder, actor, so on and so forth. Jesse Itzler. You might not know. Do you know who Jesse Itzler is?
I'm familiar with that name.
He wrote 30 Days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, David Goggins guy. Yeah.
Yep. He's he's got a long story too, but he owns a private jet company, and he's like the definition of embracing the suck. Everything he does, he just, he realizes that if you do hard things, you will be successful. So I really like following him. Sarah Blakely.
That's his wife, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. How did she start her business?
Selling encyclopedias door to door.
Oh,
isn't that ironic?
And then she sold Spanx door to door.
Billionaire.
Billionaire.
I just like following her on Instagram because she posts a lot of things I like. And then we got the ones we talked about last year, obviously The Rock, Tim Grover, Grant Cardone. I would say those are the main ones for the most part. Yeah.
Okay. Hey man, you think The Rock's gonna run for president?
I don't know, man.
I
I
mean, not
don't
this year,
know.
but dude, I think this is a prediction. I think The Rock is gonna run for president. This is random, but I think it's gonna
That's a
happen.
solid one, man. They've been talking about that for a while. The last two
Yeah.
elections, he's been brought up. So I don't know. I don't know.
Well, hey, we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. But I think he'll win.
Yeah.
Probably,
Everyone.
probably by landslide.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can come up with a third party. Represent a third party. That'd be sick. We'd all
Yeah.
vote for him.
For real.
And right now, I want to talk to you about this dilemma that I know you've had in your life recently. It's a pretty serious one, because I know that you've had the Audi, and then you just got, you just won a brand new car. So what are you doing now that you have two
Yeah,
vehicles,
man.
man?
Very tough spot in my life right now. I'm gonna sell the Audi, which
Okay.
breaks my heart. I love that car. Oh my gosh, I drove it here, man. I was just because I'm trying to sell it as soon as possible, and I'm just being up on it the last couple of days I have it. But yeah, I'm gonna sell that, keep the Jeep.
Okay. And I get that. I mean, it's a free car.
Yeah,
Probably a
no
wise
car
move.
payment. Yeah,
Yep. Grant Cardone would be proud if you could invest that money in something.
absolutely.
As far as your latest move, right? Just moved into like a penthouse downtown Detroit. How's that been, man?
It's amazing, man. Not a penthouse. It's an apartment.
Okay.
But yeah, it's nice. But
sorry, Steve. Sorry.
yeah, Steve's in a
Say,
penthouse.
partner coming soon.
We'll call
soon.
Steve's a penthouse. But I love it. Where I'm from the country. Grew up on the farm. We talked about it last time, but I wanted to experience something new, and got a nice little 6-month lease, and I'm loving it. You got everything down there, and honestly, you don't need a car. Just the scooters you ride around on. But after the summer, I was looking at buying a house, so I could Airbnb it out during the summer, get some passive income going. I put an offer down on this one in Oxford on a lake. It got accepted, and then inspection came, and it failed. The sewer was messed up. Radon levels. So kind of backed out of that, and then interest rates jumped up to 6.3%. So I'm like, we'll wait on it for now. I know Mikey's pushing me to buy a house, but we'll wait on it.
I don't know what's going on with the interest rates, like how long they'll be that way.
Yeah, but we're I'm gonna save up enough cash, so hopefully after next summer, if everything's went down a little bit, I'll be able to purchase a new home.
Okay. And I've asked a question kind of similar to this before, but this is a massive issue of interest, I guess, throughout probably the whole US right now. There's a lot of people who do not know what their next step is between the ages of as early as 17 up to 25. And a lot of people are just like, they think they need to go to school, right? And obviously, not against school or anything. There's a lot of good jobs that require school. But what is it that you would say after being in a position where you've worked to the place to earn more than most of these people's parents, times a couple? Obviously, you're not, prideful about that, but you figured some things out. What would your advice be to them as far as like, hey, what's something productive they could do besides go spend $40,000 a year, $30,000 a year on something they're not sure if they're even going to use?
Yeah. Well, it just goes back to if you're between the age of 17 and 22, like you said, and you don't know what you want to do the rest of your life, that's completely fine. You're young, you don't have to have your whole life planned out. But with that being said, you don't have to, I have nothing against college, but you don't have to go to school in order to, to get a solid job. And I talked about this last year a lot in our podcast, but unless you want to be, an engineer, a doctor, lawyer, nurse, something that definitely requires school. If you don't know what you want to do the rest of your life, get into sales, because you learn so many good skills from sales. You learn how to communicate. You learn how to sell. Everything in life is a sale, right? Whether that's selling your girlfriend to marry you, or whether that's merging on the highway, you have to sell yourself to that guy to let you merge in, right?
Mhm.
So everything is a sale. It's a transaction. So again, we have all these kids who go to college for business. And I'm going to take this right from Ethan Bacher's podcast. They're in this, they're in this lecture, and I talked to a lot of guys in business, and they're like, well, my business professor said I should do X, Y, and Z. And then, we asked them, okay, what business does your professor own? Well, they don't own one, they just teach it. Okay, then how do they know how a business operates?
Mhm.
If you want to learn about business, one, get into sales, and two, network with individuals like yourself. Ethan, Tristan, these business owners who run a multi-million-dollar sales team in 4 months.
Hey, when you mentioned that too, one of the most important things that you learn is that an organization functions so much on organization. And I know you probably meant to throw that one in there, but there's a lot of names. Steven Goodall is so good at that. Ethan is incredibly good at that. But the guys within our team that come in and first they're sales reps, right? And if they do want to go to the next level and become part of business ownership as we expand, they learn how to organize their operation. You're essentially in this business, you essentially become the CEO of what you end up bringing into the company, right?
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite things too, because there's a lot of different ways, companies I'm sure that provide learning experiences like that. I'm not super familiar with the names of those, but that's something you literally get to learn firsthand as part of this. And there'll be guys on you all the time like, hey, organize your crap, and you might have questions. You're like, what is Excel? All right, let's talk for a second, because I'm mildly confident. Like we might have a conversation with Mike, so we'll see. But they develop the basic skills to keep a business, organized and functioning that way.
Yeah, and just to touch on Steven, man, this guy's insane, dude.
He is.
He's just the OG.
Go look at it. We can look at it right now, man. Color coded,
I know,
like everything's right.
But no, Steven's just he's one guy I really look up to. What's funny is he actually used to work for my dad. I don't know if you knew that. But
No.
out of high school, my dad goes to these job fairs at the community college, and he worked for my dad for a year, and then he got an EcoShield, and then I now work with him. It's super ironic, but dude, I look up to Steve in so many ways, but organization is definitely the biggest one. It doesn't matter, every aspect of his life he's organized. Like you said, look at his recruiting sheet, color coded. I'm like, how do you? He keeps up with it so much too. We have guys coming in and going. And every single day he's on that. I think I was talking to him. He goes on that like 10 times per day. So
yeah, I believe dialed. If there's something that happened in the morning, you can usually go check his sheets
and it'll be
later on in the day, and it's updated. Yep. And that just takes so much consistency as far as like his vision goes. So that's something that being around these people, being around people that you push yourself to. I remember when you're coming into a company, right, and you're the guy that's new. Right. Sometimes it can be a little bit intimidating for people to go up to the guys that are doing the things right, that have really done well in that organization. But by pushing past that, by being comfortable, being uncomfortable, right, then you end up learning all these different things. Like within our organization, I've learned what you're learned from Steven, from Mike, right? Learned about how to actually effectively run teams and routing and all that from Alan, right? Learned about like personal growth development, who does it better than Gaines. You can learn all these different things. Ethan, everybody should learn from Ethan how to recruit, because he's world-class at it, right? And there's Brent is a freaking savage, man. How to sell, manage a team, motivate your guys the way that he does.
Trains. He's the best trainer.
We got Tanner, who makes everything that he's around better, right? Absolutely. It's just something that's like literally you go somewhere and Tanner's there, it would be better than if he wasn't there. There's something that's going to happen that he's going to add value with. And then Josh Wilmer's a freaking
calm,
stud.
Cool, collected, man. That guy is so calm, dude. He's cold as ice.
Just stoic, man.
Best guy ever.
Everybody has these things that if they're achievers, they've got something that's gotten them there. And by spending time around them within proximity, you'll end up getting like their best traits will end up coming across if you're willing to learn. So that's
through osmosis,
man. Yeah, absolutely love that, man. So your rookies around you, if people want to see how to perform, how to do sales, they should just hang out with you as much as they possibly can.
Gotta lead from the front, man. You gotta lead from the front. There's no other option.
Yeah. What's the long-term vision for you, right? So you're doing door to door. So I mean, that's hilarious to a lot of people, right? Doing door to door as a career, right? What's your 5-year vision? What are you hoping to do from where you're at?
Hit partnership this year, obviously, but in 5 years from now, my team is going to be doing 30 million. And then I want to obviously get into real estate. 5 years from now, I want to own 5 real estate properties. So after every summer, I'm going to buy a new one. That's the plan. Just get that passive income going, and then, the quickest way to become a millionaire is to expand, your umbrella with your portfolio. So, just real estate, but focus most of my time on the EcoShield, obviously.
We talk a lot about the things that people should be focusing on. What are some of the pitfalls you see from people your age right now, the way things in their life that they're not self-analyzing that they're going to realize in 5, 10 years, like, hey, maybe I should have tweaked that a little bit? What are some of the things you see from guys your age that are really young that, hey, if they tweak this, they might be more happy with where they're at?
Oh man, where do I start? Parties, girls, alcohol, all the above, like you said
But you're
before.
20, so I'm sure you've never had any of that.
Oh no, in Canada,
Yep,
that's why I
yep.
live in Detroit. No, but like I said, social media. We talked about this before, but um, I think people need to take a step back and look um, who they're surrounded by, because you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and that is why I spend the most time with my guys, Tristan, Brent, because if you're surrounded by them, you as well, Steven, Ethan, you're the average of that. That's a pretty freaking high average.
Yep. And you're going to end up being jacked too.
Exactly.
Hey,
I'm getting there.
yep. Hey, man, I literally love that we all work out and push each
Oh,
other.
this year it's different, man. There's a different type of accountability in the Outliers organization as a whole, which I absolutely love. I love it.
Do you see during our like accountability calls, you see how
six,
many?
six,
Six?
six.
There's so many people with 6 workouts
in
a
our
week.
Snapchat, man. I actually got on people last week because the first 2 weeks of the off season, everyone's dialed. Everyone's doing this and that, and we always sent pictures like in the cold shower, pictures working
Dude, I
out.
saw it. Some people literally sent pictures of the cold shower. I love it. James
Yeah.
was the first one, right?
Yep, exactly.
It's not a full picture, but
No. And then as off season goes on, a couple weeks ago, there weren't any more Snapchats in there. So I sent a picture in the gym. I'm like, where's the Snapchats at? You guys sleeping in now or what? And then Brent went in on that as well. And then we got the guys still working out.
All right. So hey, that reminds me. All right, so I'll jump back on my Instagram posts in the gym in the morning.
Absolutely, please
all
do.
Right. Yep. I've adjusted the time just for everybody here because I like to be transparent. Right. For a long time, I was getting up at 4:50, but right now I'm trying to bulk, so I'll be getting up at 6. So you'll notice a slightly different time frame. All right.
Sleeping in, man.
I know, dude. Got to give the body some time to build though. Thanks a lot, Patty. We'll see who ends up winning this year, man.
Let's
but
go.
It's going to be some high levels of competition. So just to wrap this up, man, back here 2 years in a row. We've gone over it a bunch of times, but it's something that's so challenging to accomplish one more time. All right. Top 10 rookie, top 10 overall. What's the vision? What's the goal next year for you? What are we going to be talking about next year?
My team's, I'm going to hit partnership, obviously. My team's going to do 4.5 mil in 4 months. Personally, I will sell 600K in revenue. I commit to that now. I know what it takes to sell 150K a month in 4 months, and I can do that without a doubt. If that puts me, that'll put me in top 10. Obviously, I can do top 10 again. But it's funny just looking back at a summer now. I look at 400K in a summer. Not as easy, but I can do that. I don't want to say easy because it's not easy, but I can do 150K summer. So 4.5 million team, 600K summer, top 10 overall. And then one of the biggest ones is I will have 3 top 10 rookies on my team. I guarantee it.
3?
3. Yes.
You want to throw out some names?
Not yet, because guys got to prove themselves. But we haven't knocked doors yet. But I'm going back to Cabo. I actually got a text yesterday. Got my tickets for Thursday, and I'm going back there alone, and that pisses me off. So I want to bring some guys back with me.
Hey, I feel that. And hey, to circle back to a question that I remember being asked by the rookies to ask you, I forget who it was specifically. They said, what's the difference between somebody that sells average numbers, what we talk about, right? Managers end up making, once it's past their first year, on average, like 80K roughly, right? During 4 months is what the experienced reps typically make something like. What's the difference between that guy that's making a living? He's doing a lot of things right. And then what would he need to do to elevate his game to, being able to earn the kind of money that you and the guys in your same realm make? What are the biggest changes that he needs to shift?
Discipline. Brent says this all the time, but if you take the highest earners in a room and then you take their level of discipline, they're going to be synonymous. The most disciplined people make the most amount of money. Second is competitiveness. I've never seen someone who's crazy competitive not perform well. And then lastly is be obsessed. Uh, it's crazy how I look at my life growing up. I don't really know why. I think I'm just wired this way. Every big success I have, I simply just shrug at it. Okay, this isn't enough. What's next? Like I look at this last summer, my earnings. Yeah, it's a good summer, but I know I'm capable of so much more. If you're obsessed with progress, you will break through so many ceilings, and that's how you sell a lot.
I think that's a perfect place for us to wrap it up, man. Until next time, thanks for coming in.
Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, we'll see you next year.
Absolutely.
Peace.